Today we are going to be critically reflecting on pre-service teacher Brittany's Year 2 English lesson on contractions. What do you think about the incorporation of ICT into her lesson?
I thought that Brittany's use of ICT was a positive aspect of this lesson. By playing a video of the story on the interactive whiteboard, students had a clear view of the text, making it easier to follow along.
And this meant that they were able to both see and hear the different contractions that are in the text. There are a couple of times throughout the lesson that you can see students identifying the contractions by seeing them on the screen before they're read aloud.
Brittany's use of ICT fits with the enhancement section of the SMAR model, specifically as an augmentation, as it was technology used as a direct substitute, and it improves the function of a traditional method, that being reading the physical book.
And the use of ICT in this lesson allowed the activity to be more inclusive, as students have the opportunity to take in the information both visually and orally. Throughout this lesson, Brittany is fulfilling the APST standards 2.6, Information and Communication Technology, and 4.1, Support Student Participation.
Overall, ICT was used in an appropriate and effective manner. What did you think about how she implemented her lesson plan?
I think Brittany's lesson plan was excellent. She had a great range of activities covering the topic, which allows for higher engagement from students of capability levels and learning styles. For example, the story recording accommodates both visual and verbal linguistic learners, and the pairs activity encourages interpersonal development. Unfortunately, we didn't see the evidence of many of the planned activities actually being implemented during the video recording of the lesson.
I agree. It would have been nice to see how the students approached the worksheet, as well as the other activities that were featured in the lesson plan, but were not in the recording. Brittany made the decision to cut the pairs activity in the introduction stage of the lesson due to the earlier parts running over time. This demonstrates good on-the-spot decision-making to stick to the planned timing by prioritizing particular activities.
Brittany also needs to improve on the way she introduces and explains topics and activities to the class. The introduction was extremely brief and lacked any explanation of why and how contractions are used. Her demonstration on the board focused on expanding contracted forms to full words, but then the independent worksheets completely flipped it by expecting students to contract the words instead. This is likely to confuse many students. I came to realise during my own experience with a Stage 1 class that students of this age need really explicit instructions and that visual aids are extremely useful.
I had a similar experience during my PECs. A lot of the students didn't properly understand the activity, so I had everyone stop working while I re-explained and drew in the example on the board. Brittany's supervising teacher suggested the need for a small group to be formed to assist struggling students to bring the whole class together to work through the first couple of questions together. Hopefully, Brittany takes this feedback to improve on her explanations and examples in future lessons.
An important aspect of classroom management that Brittany did well is ensuring that transitions between segments of the lesson are controlled and do not allow students the opportunity to misbehave or get distracted. When it was time for students to move off to their desk and begin their individual work, Brittany called the students up by a table group and to collect a sheet from her, and then move off to their desk.
And this strategy allows her to keep control of the class. Ensuring quick and efficient transitions is important because, according to Lyons et al., during transition periods, inappropriate and unsafe behaviours are more likely to occur.
By creating an efficient and safe transition period, Brittany has implemented Standard 4.2, Managed Classroom Activities, into her lesson.
It's very important for teachers to positively praise students and give productive feedback. Brittany does this while teaching, using phrases such as good girl and good, which can have a positive effect on the student's performance and attitude. Her supervisor teacher does suggest replacing the phrase good girl with good listening or good brain work.
I agree. Praise is most effective when it's sincere and natural. Teachers should try to motivate their students as it increases engagement, and we see that with Brittany as she has almost the whole class participating in the lesson.
Also, providing feedback during the lesson helps to keep students on track, minimise misunderstandings and errors, and highlights areas that need further explanation.
Effective feedback provides constructive information and encouragement, and it is immediate and specific. Supportively correcting students' errors that made during their learning positively affects their performance and attitude.
At the beginning of the lesson, Brittany implements questioning techniques to establish students' prior knowledge, which quickly grabs the students' attention. Throughout the lesson, she uses questioning to motivate and encourage the students' thinking in the classroom.
In the video, we see students raise their hand as they see a contraction during the story. As students start raising their hands, Brittany pauses the video and gives the rest of the class a chance to find the contraction before discussing it. She continues doing this and poses questions throughout the lesson to allow for full participation.
Brittany's questioning techniques help the students engage actively in the teaching and learning process. It also indicates if the students are understanding what is being taught during the lesson.
Overall, Brittany's lesson was successful. There were just a few areas that she could improve on in the future, such as appropriate explanation of topics and activities by understanding students' capabilities.